Hey everybody, Soul Work here, giving you a Raw review of this past week's Raw. A little mumble mouthed right now. Um, we had Chris Jericho come out and cut a promo about winning the world title, and right behind that we had Edge come out and declare that he's going to take on Jericho. Kind of seen this one coming, which is to be expected because of the what happened when Edge got hurt and Jericho calling him useless and taking on the Big Show as his partner. So it should be really interesting to see these two go at it at WrestleMania, and I'm actually really looking forward to this. And I think these two could really carry the show and perhaps steal the show this year. We also had John Cena come right out and cut a promo after that as well, asking Vince why he did what he did. Why did you screw me out of the belt? What did I do? You know, Vince came out and said, "Well, Dave wanted this, and after Dave helped me out with Bret Hart, this is what he asked for in return was a title match at any time, and I granted him it, and he took his opportunity, and so John Cena talking about getting his clause, his return match clause, and Vince then in as well stating that Sheamus is also entitled to it. So John Cena has to defeat someone to get it, and John Cena wants to know who and when. And Vince said tonight you're going to take on Dave Batista in the main event, and if he beats Dave Batista, he will get Dave Batista at WrestleMania. After that, we got into Maurice versus Gail Kim. Really not impressed. I don't know what happened, but it looked like something went really wrong during the match, and I hope everybody's okay. There's not too bad of an injury. But if there is an injury and it is on Maurice, where she has to give up the belt, I think WWE might be in a smart idea to actually just drop the belt and go back to having one woman's title, and that's it, and let it cross brands. I think that'd be a better idea than trying to keep this belt afloat because it's if Maurice is hurt or anything severe like that, it kind of diminishes the title. And so far, I haven't heard anything about her being injured. It just looked like she might have got hurt during the match. Then we had Legacy versus Evan Bourne, Kofi Kingston, and Yoshitatsu. It's nice to see Yoshitatsu on Monday Night Raw instead of going to SmackDown, which I wouldn't mind him on SmackDown because I think Yoshitatsu is a great talent and really entertaining to watch. A lot of energy and very young and fresh face guy going out there and working his ass off. And then we had the big implosion of Legacy as Randy Orton spiked DDT'd Cody Rhodes getting into the ring. And then RKO'd Ted DiBiase when DiBiase is asking him why he did it and what is he doing. The only thing that strikes me off is, once again, I said this in one of my other videos, is Randy Orton supposed to be the bad guy or is he supposed to be the good guy? Because if you listen to the crowd reaction, it comes off as Randy Orton's the good guy in this one. And I'm not really sure that's the way it was supposed to go, but it's starting to turn that way. And I don't really see Ted DiBiase as a heel. I think all Cody Rhodes. Cody's just too clean cut of babyface, And I like them guys. I think they would get over pretty well as babyfaces. But if they go on this route, they must, there has to be something along the lines, and maybe we'll get a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And once again, I said in my other video, I wouldn't mind seeing the brothers get involved. I know Randy doesn't have a brother, but you know what? He has a boy down there he could call up, and it's Joe Henning, which I think Joe Henning he's a monster of a kid, and it'd be really interesting to see him and Randy start teaming and beating up on Cody and Goldust or Dustin Rhodes or whatever you want to call him, or Ted and Mike DiBiase. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see actually what goes on in there, but we'll see what happens. Coming up, going and building up into the weeks of WrestleMania. You had Shawn Michaels come out, cut a promo about why he did what he did, and can he get the Undertaker? Lights go out, Taker comes to the ring, and Undertaker answers it and tells him, yes, you will get me at WrestleMania, but with one condition is I want your career. So if Shawn Michaels loses at WrestleMania, that could be the end of it, and maybe no more Shawn Michaels. It sucks, it's sad to see one of my favorite all-time wrestlers go away, but he has done a lot, and his body is pretty beat up. And I think for the past 6 years, had match of the years in the past 6 years is pretty impressive and not a bad way to go out. The only thing with this match is I just wish they would let it have built a little longer, maybe another year, maybe make us wait a year to see the rematch. But I'm not the booker and I'm not the man in charge, so. But that's how I would have did it. I really would have. I just think a year build between Taker and Shawn Michaels, little animosity going back and forth, little shit talking. Could have did a lot for the business, you know. Could have did a lot for the buy rate, but you know we're going to get it this year, and hopefully they could put on par with what they did last year, and maybe you know go over the top this year. I mean, really over. I mean, I don't know how you could compare. You know, I don't know what more these two guys can do. You know, because last year's match was just so incredible. It's going to be interesting to see what they bring out this year. I'm not going to talk about the guest host thing because that's just bad to me. You had Show Miz versus MVP and Mark Henry. Once again, not something I'm really entertained with along the lines of MVP and Mark Henry. I'm not entertained by them two. As a team, I like MVP as a wrestler, but he's a mid-carder at best right now. And Mark Henry could be something really awesome if he changed his gimmick. And I'm not saying, you know, change his name, but he's a big monster of a man. I think it would work really well if he had like some kind of Vader style gimmick. I'm not saying the mask and all that, but I'm just saying he's really badass, you know, guy that could knock your head off with one shot. And I really think his finishing move needs to change. I think he needs to get away from that slam. That slam is ridiculous. I think he should use like a power bomb, or maybe even like a press slam into a Death Valley Driver or something like that. Maybe show off that he actually could do something with a big move. Then we had the main event, which was Batista versus John Cena. And I got a smile on my face because I thought it looked great. It was good to see Batista come off as a real badass, a real heel, and just put the boots and kick the ever-living shit out of John Cena. Kicking Cena right in the balls right to start off the match and getting disqualified and guaranteeing our third main event for WrestleMania, John Cena versus Batista, and for the world title and for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, whatever one they want to call it. And it looked really good when he walked up the ramp and he turned back around and went back down and beat his ass. That's old school, man. That's classic heel right there. And I just wish he would have did that when he was on SmackDown to Rey Mysterio, because I had seen a live show and the crowd was still behind Batista wrestling R-Truth and Rey Mysterio, and I'm like, you know, that's not a heel. If the kids are still chanting for you and still rooting for you, you know, you want to be a heel, you gotta bring something more to the table. And he really did bring something to the table, and he opened up a little Stone Cold Steve Austin can of whoop ass on John Cena, which was pretty cool to see, because the animal, you know, as they call him, really looked like an animal tonight, Monday night. And it was really cool to see that. And I just hope that they keep going in this direction with Batista. And I like them even calling him by his full name, Dave Batista. It looked really well and really good, and along those lines of being a heel and a monster and the big animal that he is. And that's pretty much it. Raw after the pay-per-view I think was great. I know the way I made it sound kind of seemed drab, but coming off the pay-per-view the way they did, I think was well done, and it just went straight ahead. You know, you had the pay-per-view where you're like, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow night? And then you had the payoff. Everything was a payoff. The only thing I'm worried about is what are you going to do with Sheamus? Is Sheamus just going to fall to the roadside, or are we actually going to get Sheamus involved in something bigger than a world title match? Right? Not that there's much for him, but, I mean, are they going to build Sheamus up, or are they just going to let him, once again, like I said, fall to the wayside? And it's going to be really interesting the next couple of weeks building up to WrestleMania. So I hope everybody liked the show, and it's all work. I'm out.